What up, YouTube? Got a mix of good and bad news, I suppose. Um, the news is I have just last night quit my job that I had recently started. Um, the main reason for this was like a health-related issue. Um, they wanted to keep putting me on the what's called the manual line, where we would lift heavy parcels to put on the sorter to then go onto the back of wagons. And yeah, these parcels are like a two-person lift, up to like 35 and like 50 kilograms in some instances. And that's not heavy if you're just going to lift it once or twice, maybe in a whole shift. But this is like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And in the UK, that's a two-person lift, and sometimes, we do work together, but a lot of the time we have to like lift them and put them on the belt ourselves, and it upsets a medical condition that I've got. There's possibility I could have asked them to move me onto another department, but I'd already made a bit of a bad name for myself by having to not go in at one of the shifts after it had upset my condition. So subsequently, they weren't really going to do me any favours, which is very sad, to be honest. But I'm not sad that I've left, other than obviously I need the money, because there's many other factors why I didn't like working there. And one of the factors is there's like no English people there at all. There must have been like less than 10 of us on that entire shift. And I like talking to other people from other countries. If I remember later on in the video, I'll tell you about a Zimbabwe guy that I talked to and had a very good conversation with. But it's just a bit annoying when nobody else is speaking the same language as you, and you're just surrounded by it all the time. It can be a bit demotivating. And not only that, I mean, hold on, I'll wait a minute. I can't bother editing this out of the video just because that train's gone past. But because I'm English, I would always be selected and asked to do things because I'm the easiest to communicate with. And I'd already worked there, so it was like, do you know how to do this? Yeah, I know how to do that. So they could stick me straight at it. And one of the things I found there the last time I was there is that the English really are the hardest workers. People won't like me saying this, but it's like the English, then the Polish, and the Romanians, and Slovakians, and everything, other Eastern Europeans. And then I would say it's the Indians, and then the Africans, really. Not all. The guy I worked with from Zimbabwe was very good at English, and he was very motivated, but they're very, very rare. And I would say with the English, it's the opposite way around. We're the lazy ones who don't communicate very well, are the rare ones. That's why we English would, when I last worked there, we English would always get given the really heavy tasks to do because we wouldn't complain about it. And they would give us any tasks like in the sort of resolution area to be able to figure out what's happening with these parcels, because we have to read it and whatnot. So we would always be given the hardest tasks, just so essentially the foreigners can have the easy jobs, which is not what I'm about. That's not equal, I used to like to think I was in favour of equality when I was younger, but in principle, in theory and philosophy, I am in favour of it. But when it's not being enacted out and you're on the receiving end all the time, you quickly, begin to not care. You just think about yourself, my own benefit, which was not working there anymore. I mean, the good news is that it's currently October here in the UK, so I'll be able to find another job pretty fast, hopefully, most likely. If you wish to help me, you can always look in the description in the video and you'll find some links. But that's how the cookie crumbles at the minute. And I'm not too sad because now I have more time to be able to put into these videos for a little while until I find my next assignment. So yeah, it's not ideal, I don't think, but I can now start investing more in my video and making the content better. because I've just had a big long period of not uploading anything, which wasn't ideal, so the future idea is that this becomes my job, this pays me, so I don't have to do these other crap jobs working for other people. I'm obviously a bit disappointed that I had to resign, but it's essentially outside my control if they want to keep sticking me on the manual line because I'm good at the job. Well, there's somebody there, and they don't want to do anything to help me. Then why should I continue working there? I can find somewhere better to work where I'm not going to have the condition be upset by having to lift heavy things continually all the time. I'm sure there was another point I had to raise. Oh yeah, so the Zimbabwe guy though, I had a really interesting conversation with him. I educated him about some of the things the British Empire had done to benefit people such as himself, and pretty much unprompted, he was saying that he valued everything that Great Britain has done for his country. He's a Christian man. He likes that Great Britain gave him Christianity. When I said I'd started attending church, he embraced me and said welcome to the family, which was nice. And I was telling him how essentially we were like the forefront of the movement to end slavery. And the interesting thing is as well is that he loves it here because he's come from Zimbabwe. He knows what it's like to live in a truly bad country. And the UK has many issues, certainly, but it's still the best place to live in the world. And I know this seems to anger people for some bizarre reason. I think it's some of you clowns that watch Andrew Tate stuff and etc., where you think that going to Saudi Arabia or Dubai is going to be better than here. But trust me, it's not. These not very this is a dirty word now, but not very liberal countries. They are very conservative. I've heard many, many, many bad stories of people who've been mistreated because they were either unmarried, or they had a Jewish name, etc. So yeah, I wouldn't go to any of those countries. If I can avoid it, I don't want to go to any Arab countries. The only time I'll go to any of those is if I'm changing plane to get somewhere else. But it speaks volumes when somebody from Zimbabwe can recognise how great we have it here, and he loves the country. And I do think with the coming, what I predict is the coming conflict in the UK, which again I hope we don't have a civil war, but I think it's definitely more likely than not. I think we need to remember that the sort of Christian Africans are our friends. They are our allies. Obviously not all, but I would say that the Christian Africans, they definitely can see things from our point of view. They want this to remain a Christian country. They moved to Britain because it is Britain, not because it is Zimbabwe or Namibia or Rwanda or Democratic Republic of the Congo, etc. I just think that is something that's important to remember for us British people, that we can't look at every single foreigner that they are the problem. And I do worry that maybe the ethno-nationalist types might have a bit too much bit too much control over what happens in the UK, and maybe we just sweep everybody out of the country who's been here less than 5-10 years or something and has no leave to remain status, etc. But I'm not going to lose too much sleep about it because it won't affect me. I am native. Obviously I have ancestry leading my way back to Cornwall, etc. So I'm not worried at all. Somebody on Facebook earlier today said that Farage would come for the rest of us after he's finished bleeding out his enemies or something. And I'm not even on Farage's side for a start. And why would they come for me? I don't really disagree with anything that Reform's doing at the minute. I don't trust Farage because he's a bit nebulous with his decisions. Those stuff to do with Rupert Law, Ben Habib, etc. I kind of can't trust Farage, but you'd be an idiot to presume he's not going to win this next election. And I would think it highly, highly unlikely anybody's going to be coming for me, because I'm not a communist. You know, the people that will, if something kicks off in the UK, the people that will have their backs against the wall first are the communists, not me. Essentially, milquetoast fence sitters like me will pretty much be ignored. We'll just be laughed at, maybe mocked, if things get really extreme. You know, if there's two extreme points of view on this future civil war. But yeah, I have no idea what he was trying to insinuate, that they would come for me. And it's something I've said in the past, that, you know, revolutions eat their own children. But I'm not part of the revolution. I've been saying I don't want a revolution. If I was maybe somebody going out there wanting civil war, trying to stoke up hatred and play both sides against each other, then yeah, definitely I would probably end up with my neck on the chopping block at some point. But just being a dissenting voice on the fringes with no power, nobody would ever come for me. Especially when I have the nuanced take, so that I still agree with many of the things that the hypothetical people coming for me would say. And not only that, Farage is not the far right. It's a bit bogus for people to keep claiming this. Him, Tommy Robinson, Ant Milton, etc., Rupert Law, none of these people are far right. They are not ethno-nationalists. And I know some of you will have issue with the term ethno-nationalist. You know, Sargon was saying recently that it's just a Greek and Latin word for the same thing combined, but we all know what we mean when we're saying ethno-nationalists. You know, maybe we do need a new name for it. But these people that want England to be only white are probably a bit deluded. You know, we have many people in the UK, especially from the Jamaican diaspora, that have mixed with the culture and have become British, because they have more or less, you know, they've got rid of parts of their own culture and adopted parts of our culture, which is why they have their inner city accents, etc. So yeah, I sort of like got off topic a little bit, but the actual ethno-nationalists are the far right, not the sort of more moderate voices like Farage, Ben Habib, etc. And I find it a bit funny that we call Farage, etc., extremists. I mean, there's nothing really Farage says is extreme in my view. He just bungles a lot. You know, one week he hits a home run, makes a really good point, and the next week is banana skinning on something stupid, like the sort of swans thing. I mean, there is evidence of a migrant killing a swan, but you know, one scenario does not a trend make. So he shouldn't really have been, you know, dying on that hill, but you know, he did for some weird reason. So yeah, I don't know, a bit rambly. I haven't done one of these walking and talking videos in a while. You know, been trying to get into the flow of working and keep on top of my health, but seems to have failed. There's a better job out there though. I'm not worried too much. You know, probably go home and shave my hair a bit short. It's getting a bit long, making me look a bit fucking, I don't know, dishevelled and whatnot. It always looks better when it's short. But as I said, you know, if you like my videos and you want to see me grow and make more content and hear more of my opinions, then by all means, look in the description. There's a GoFundMe, a Buy Me Coffee link, etc. You know, I'm not picky. You can donate anything you like. And if not, you know, just give me a subscribe, give the video a like, leave it a comment. And as long as you're not actually insulting me, I see no reason to ever, you know, infringe on your right to have an opinion. Obviously, if you're saying untrue things about me and attacking my character, I'm deleting your comment, because at such an early stage in my channel, I don't need negativity following me forwards. You know, in time, when I start getting so many comments that it's unwielding, I'll not be doing that kind of thing. But at the minute, I will definitely be deleting stupid character assassination type comments. And maybe some of you don't like that, but it's not. Your freedom of speech doesn't mean you get to ridicule me on things that aren't true. You know what I mean? If you say something that is true, and it's not a character attack, then I see no reason to delete it. But while you're saying things that are untrue, they'll be gone. But yeah, I think I'll leave this video here for now. Might do another one later. I have many ideas for videos. I just never seem to be able to move on many of them. Thinking about doing one soon where I'll tell you about all the ghost stories I've experienced in my life. You know, I think I counted them all up, and the really truly spooky ones are probably about 13, I think, which is an ominous number as well. So yeah, I think I'll make that my next video. I'll head home now, apply for some more jobs, start working on the PowerPoint for that video, because I'll maybe need some diagrams to describe these experiences I have had. And I will see you in my next video. Toodaloo.